Welcome everyone to another video. Now today we're going to discuss a topic that I like to talk about from time to time here on the channel, kind of like after every single update. And I noticed that we got a lot of newcomers recently. By the way, welcome everyone. We're going to be talking about the Meta Wishlist today. And the Meta Wishlist is kind of like this beautiful project that my good friend Bearcat has set up in order to really help guide the Planet Zoo dev team on the right direction of what to add to Planet Zoo, what to change, anything that needs to be addressed, bugs, fixes, any like logical changes and stuff like that. And it's been going on for quite some time. It's actually started all the way back in September 2020. And we're going to sit down and kind of talk about where it is right now, what's been added, and what we still need to get out of it. Now, I'm going to be going off of a beautiful little PowerPoint that my friend Bearcat has set up, and we're going to kind of do this out of order. I've linked it down below for you guys to check out for yourselves in order to like read along with it. But I really want to just address what's been added in the past and how much of an impact that this little project definitely does have. So we are currently looking at the changes added directly from past list page, and many of these actually include so many useful things that we all use today, including more statues for existing animals, which come via like, you know, the rewards and stuff like that from your classic challenge modes and whatnot. You got your added staff traversability heat map, which allows you to kind of just see where your keepers are able to access when they're actually inside of exhibits. It's extremely helpful when you're trying to like, you know, guide them along some places. Even adding a search bar to the animal trade center, I cannot stress this enough. When they changed that trade center, that was easily one of the worst things that they could have ever done. But honestly, adding that search bar made it so much easier and so much more useful. And I don't know, it's just all these tiny little things that the community suggests that allow us to get these really worthwhile changes in here. Even the train all staff button, which gave franchise and challenge players a really helpful way to kind of manage all their staff at once in a single click. And even also adding new plants and stuff like that, especially with the prop eggs in particular. These guys are really awesome. It just helps us realistic players really help to world build and role play and stuff like that. It's just really awesome to have that all come into play right there. Now, without further ado, we're going to get into what's currently on the list that needs to be addressed. Now, Bearcat has illustrated perfectly that sitting at number 1 is the exhibit system. Many people don't really like the exhibit system, me included. It's kind of clunky, it's a little bit too big, but that doesn't discredit the true potential that these things really do have. We've seen in the past with, like, you know, how awesome the additions can be with the Malayan leaf insect, with the blue-tongued skink, with all of these really awesome and versatile exhibit animals. But the main problem is the fact that they're way too big in some cases, or even just way too small in other cases. Some of the stuff that Bearcat has illustrated on here with the helps to the rest of the community, I might add, are 2 different types of sizes of exhibit, which allow for smaller ones and maybe even bigger ones. The medium is currently the standing one as I would see fit. That would allow us to get a lot more better visibility on some of our smaller friends like the Goliath beetle, the scarab beetle, I think is one of them. I honestly don't remember. I haven't used exhibits in the longest time. And, you know, other things like allowing the bottoms, roofs, and windows to all be set to null so we could do our own custom glass. I don't really see the walls being able to set to null, but I could definitely see, like, you know, the top being able to be set to null, maybe even the bottom in some cases, so we don't really have, like, you know, a big gap in between. I feel like that'd be a really awesome addition as well. And also a settings toggle which automatically sends surplus animals to the trade center. That would be ideal to have. I remember back in my challenge days and my franchise days, I would always have to keep micromanaging the exhibit boxes because they would keep on breeding. And while they did make you a lot of money, sometimes you just don't want to focus on that. Sometimes you just want to let them run and kind of make the money on their own. And I feel like that'd be a really awesome thing to have as well. Moving on from there, we also have an enrichment rework. Enrichment is very important in this game. It's one of the key found stones, cornerstones, I guess you could kind of say, about animal welfare and exhibit design, making sure that your animals are able to stay not simulated, they're always simulated, but stimulated is extremely important when taking care of these guys. Especially for allowing animals that are currently base game to actually use DLC enrichment items, as well as vice versa, with DLC animals using DLC enrichment items, kind of like the hammock for other animals, as well as, the other vice versa. For example, we also have the doll sheep in here. This is like one of the biggest things that actually makes me very mad, is the fact that they're not able to use a goat climbing mountain, and that makes me really, really upset. As well as a badger being able to use both of the termite mounds. The termite mound is such a really awesome looking object, but it's such a shame that it gets really shafted when it comes to all the other animals. I'd also love to see a lot more different enrichment items as a whole. Bearcat has illustrated these very well with like sentry stumps for meerkats, kind of like ways that they could perch up and kind of do like unique animations, kind of like what prairie dogs would do as well. That's like a really awesome double header enrichment item that I feel like would be really great to integrate. More natural scratching post trees. We only currently have the taiga and tropical ones. I feel like getting some temperate ones would be really awesome as well. Maybe we could even get a desert one for our desert animals. I know we have a lot of like, camels and stuff like that. Imagine them being able to rub against like, kind of like a big dead kind of broken down palm tree. I feel like that'd be really cool. And there's obviously much more that you guys can actually check out on the list over there. But what I love is foliage and rocks. These guys are extremely important to my gameplay, and of course, I will always advocate for more expansions on these, very crucial parts of my gameplay experience, be it a lot more underrepresented biomes and regions of plants and rocks. Mediterranean plants we don't have that much of. We need more freshwater and saltwater plants for all of our semi-aquatic animals now. We just had a wetlands pack, but we don't have any underwater foliage, which I think is kind of weird. We also would like to have a lot more South American stuff, more North American stuff for grasslands and deserts. I would even like some faux rocks in the style of baobab trees and roots. Just a lot more faux rock work goes such a long way in this community, because that's exactly what zoos are based off of. They can't really afford to bring in all these K-pop trees that the game kind of infers for you to use. Instead, zoos oftentimes opt for a lot more versatile items, kind of like faux rocks and faux trees, and just getting more and more of those would be amazing. Even just taking a look, and I didn't want to bring mods into this, but taking a look at the modding community and the faux rock pack and the really big impact that that's had on gameplay, I think that'd be a really important thing to have in this game, just overall. I would also love to see a lot more stuff, kind of like, these aren't even in here, but I would love to see flexi color natural rocks, and vice versa. I would love to see the faux rocks in the style of the normal base game natural rocks, just with the faux rock texture. I feel like that would be a really awesome thing to have, and I'm a little upset that we don't have that yet, but I feel like those rock shapes are extremely versatile, and I would definitely love to see a lot more of those come into play with the faux rock style. We also have a bunch of other things, such as mechanics. I feel like mechanics are such a huge thing to have, such as ambassador animal talk shows. These things are very common in zoos. Pretty much in almost every single zoo that you go to, they will have ambassador animals that are kept off stage and brought out specifically for education and shows. These can be anything from small snakes to lemurs to even larger animals, kind of like condors and vultures. Even macaws are extremely common for that. I would love to see a new ambassador keeper, as the list illustrates, being able to bring out these animals and kind of just show off these animals to guests and have this really unique guest experience. And I feel like that'd be a really awesome thing to have as well. Moving on from here, path changes. This one is huge. Officially add in the 2 meter and 3 meter wide paths. We're not able to do those unless if we use exploits or mods, so being able to do those officially in the game would be a really great thing to have. Even null paths, it's so important. This is probably one of my biggest requests. It's just being able to do a null path that, you know, allows you to do glass paths, allows you to do like mesh walkways where you can like kind of like Jurassic Park 3, that kind of stuff with like the Pteranodon aviary, and being able to add curbs to null curbs to natural paths. This is another annoying thing that, you know, just Goron has found ways around, but not without it being completely tedious. Goron, you know I love you, but please. I would love to see this officially get added so that we don't need to like waste time constantly having to use exploits in order to get something to look good. I just would love to see this stuff get officially integrated. And again, we keep on moving down the line with quality of life additions. I would love to see Sandbox animal freedom. Okay, this one is huge. This one speaks to me. Sandbox, let's talk about that a little bit. It's the game mode that I play the most. It's probably my favorite part of the game itself, but there are so many awful things about it, be it the fact that we can't disable animal scarring. This makes it really difficult, sometimes not really difficult, but an extremely high annoyance on my list, to kind of adopt a group of animals and half of them come out looking like they just came out of like, I don't know, the slaughterhouse. I don't know. I really don't know, but it looks awful. And I really wish there were a way to turn off animal scarring, specifically just to get like, you know, good looking animals in my zoo. I don't want like scratched up and scuffed animals. And the worst part is that those don't go away. So you constantly need to keep on re-rolling for good looking animals. And I think that's a little ridiculous. Now moving on from there, we also have the numeric values for animal traits. You guys know when you get like your golden ribbon animals, they all have like 100 in the stats. I would love to see stuff like that where we could actually manually slide that in order to get perfect animals, or at least the animals that we want the most at that time. I feel like it'd be really amazing to like, you know, have a whole herd of elephants, right? And we have this slider option, so you could do like a bunch of small males and whatnot. You could have them at like 25% to 0%, and then you just have one big boy who's all the way up at 100%, and he towers over the rest of the group. It's that kind of role playing and that kind of lore building that I feel like Sandbox really needs, because after all, it is a sandbox mode. You should be able to do whatever you want to do, and I feel like having these options would go such a long way. Now, another thing is decreasing the size of animal hitboxes. This one is pretty annoying. Currently, we have this fixed with Planet Zoo Plus, but I would love to see it be addressed officially by Frontier, because that's a whole point of Planet Zoo Plus. It's kind of like us kind of picking up the scraps from Planet Zoo. But essentially, I would love to see a lot better hitboxes for animals. Currently, if you guys have ever tried to play with the California sea lion, it is one of the worst navigating animals in the entire game. It is extremely difficult to kind of build habitats for these guys because they're so like unable to traverse their habitats. And I feel like getting this all fixed up would be a really great thing to have. I would love to see that be addressed soon, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to be completely honest. There's so much left on the wish list that I really do highly encourage you guys to check out. I have it linked in the description again down below for you guys to actually check out and kind of contribute yourself. And that's exactly what this slide is about. This is exactly what you can do to help influence the future, really, of Planet Zoo. As you guys can probably guess, we don't really have that much of game lifespan left, and it's really important right now to get all these issues addressed as soon as possible. Now, you guys can go ahead, go to the forums, make your account, like the post and comment your thoughts and suggestions, maybe even highlight something that really speaks to you. Like, for example, I would say 2 meter and 3 meter wide paths. That would be a really awesome thing to have. But more engagement means more attention from tier, which means more things get added. And I feel like that is really the most important takeaway from this entire chat today. Even if you don't have anything to add, just go over, lend your support, say, I support this wish list. And maybe we could hope that, maybe some of these issues can be addressed. Maybe we could hope that, Frontier listens to us and really gives us a lot better path control. They give us a lot better sandbox control. They even allow for a lot more creativity and flexibility when it comes to the exhibits. But also, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Also, be sure to check out Random Goat's 25 animal meta wishlist in case if you guys want to add more animals to the game. Trust me, that one works extremely well. But anyways, that's pretty much it for our video today. I know it's been quite a little bit of a long one, and I really do thank you guys for sitting down and checking this out. Always do appreciate the support. I know this really isn't the speed build that you guys wanted, but I hope you guys took away something. Hope it was really awesome just to kind of look at what's been added and kind of reflect and see just how much of a voice that you have for this game itself. But anyways, guys, I'm going to cut it there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.